My mom spent money that wasn't hers and screwed me over.
I need some help and wasn't really sure where to post this on Reddit, but here we go. So I 20-miners live in Alaska, and every year we get PFDs and we can spend the money on whatever we want, and my parents decided to put it all in a bank account. I found this out when I was around 5 or 6 years old, and I asked my dad when I can call it the money, and he said when I turned 18, and I said okay, and just went back to playing with my Legos and whatnot. Fast forward to when I was around 7 years old. My parents ended up splitting, and my mom had full custody of me. I wasn't able to see my dad for a few years, which hurt me a lot. Then when I was 8, my mom had told me that we were going to get a new truck, which I was excited for. We went to the dealership and found this beautiful 2011 Chevy Silverado 1500 with a dark bluish color, and we drove it home after signing the paperwork. I asked my mom how we were able to afford it, and she said that she got a raise at work, and I was like, oh, okay, congrats, Mom. About half a year later, she decided to order a toy hauler, which I was confused why she got it, because at the time it was just me and my mom, and neither of us knew how to drive with a trailer. I later asked how she was able to afford it all, and she said that she got a huge check from work for figuring out something. Not sure what it was, but I had a hard time believing her, but then didn't really care at the time. When I turned 10 or 11, my mom told me that my dad wanted to see me again, and I was excited and crying, so I said I wanted to meet my dad. We hung and talked for hours, just catching up with each other. And I mentioned that she got a new truck and camper, and he asked how she got it, and I told him. But he tells me a lot now that she just cares about money, which I didn't think was true. But now that I'm older, it shows a little bit. My mom and dad says a lot of shit about each other, and I just don't care. As long as I have a mom and dad, I'm fine. I try and stay out of their shit talk. Now, when I was around 14 or 15, my mom met my stepdad and got married, and later bought 2 snowmobile. One is a 2013 Polaris RMK Pro 600, and they got me a 2007 Polaris RMK 600, and I never been on a sled before. So I was excited to ride one and thought my stepdad was making a lot of money. So I didn't think much about it, but I think I asked them how much that cost, and I think they said around 4 or 5 grand. I was like, wow, that's a great deal. Now when I turned 18, they got a new 2021 Can Am Defender 6x6. It's a beautiful machine, and we all love it. I've done some work to it, like installing a lift kit on it, and bigger tires. All the goodies for it. Fast travel to 2023, me and my girlfriend had just moved into our own place around 2 months ago, and I had dumped just about all my money into the new place with only 100 to my name. I've been having a hard time trying to find a job, so I have no money for gas or anything. I DoorDash, but they don't really pay well to make next month's pay, so that don't really help much. But now, in October, me and my girlfriend invited my mom and stepdad to do our yearly pumpkin carving contest. I asked my mom while we were carving if I could have the information for my bank account that has all my PFDs in it, because it was going to be around $25,000 and $30,000, as I told myself I was only going to use that money for emergencies. She tells me that she spent most of it on her, and I was furious with her but didn't say anything as we were having a good night. I was talking to my girlfriend at the time after they had left, and we don't know what to do with my money situation. I was thinking of having my mom pay me all that money back in the future, but I just have no idea what to do. FYI, my stepdad and mom are also having money issue.
I found the businessman's stash.
I, 18M, was walking to the local pharmacy around 45 minutes ago, on my way to pick up some antibiotics and a Rain energy drink. As I left my housing, a beautiful bunkhouse just in front of a well-maintained bike path, sadly I share this lodging with 7 others whom I desperately hate. I noticed a sharply dressed man sitting on a bench just beyond our privacy fence. He was around 30, slightly balding with a fantastically tailored black suit. Just as I was leaving our gate, locking it behind me, the fancy man got up and started waking away down the little bike path towards a footbridge that spans a small creek. I walked a good 50 behind him. As he turned to the bridge, I noticed he had a yellow box of some kind in his hand. I dismissed the box and the man until just after the bridge he got off of the path and began down the small slope towards the creek. This I found odd, as it is 20 degrees outside, so not the weather for a dip in the creek. The man got down on eye level with the supports of the bridge and began rustling around the fallen leaves. He then took his yellow box and pushed it back into a large gap between the bridge and the bike path, quickly covering the box with leaves to obscure it from view. I was completely bewildered. I thought to myself, for what reason would you go through this trouble? Of course, my mind immediately went to a drug drop-off, which piqued my interest, as I am a degenerate who enjoys the occasional illicit substance. So as the man was climbing up the small slope again, I promised myself after my trip to the pharmacy, I would investigate. After my trip to the pharmacy was done, more legal drugs tucked in my coat pocket. I made my way to the scene of earlier's events. I was concerned that if it was a drop-off of some kind, the box would have already been taken. So with a good deal of anticipation, I sat down my newly acquired energy drink on a rock and slid down the hillside to the supports of the bridge. There, under the leaves the fancy man had placed, there was the yellow box. Only, it wasn't just a yellow box. It was a cornflakes box, sealed at the top. I wasn't too disappointed, certainly confused and surprised. Content to leave his cornflake stash be, I covered it back up and began up the hill when I realized, what if the drugs are inside the cornflake box? Any smart dealer would re-glue the top of the box. So again excited, I revealed the box again, turned it over, and opened it up. Inside there was a full bag of cornflakes, not even opened. Defeated. I made my way up the hill to home, my mind racing, trying to decipher the reason for the fancy man's cornflake stash.
Packing bags at the supermarket.
Any man or woman who goes out there and earns an honest dollar has my respect. Every job is worthy of respect, from the highest paid CEO to the man who cleans out your trash cans. That being said, though at present time I have a fairly comfortable job, it wasn't always the case. When I was a kid, my friends and I used to cut school sometimes. We didn't have a lot of money for things back then, so we'd go to the supermarket and work a few hours packing bags for people. We'd get some change from the customers, and the cashiers didn't have to worry about packing bags. In hindsight, I think that those supermarket owners should have kicked us out. We were obviously underaged. We were not employed by the establishment. We were working and clearly truant from school. But they didn't seem to care back then. I can't imagine that you could pull of something like that these days. I don't really see kids bagging groceries anymore. Now it's either the cashier or an adult on the end doing the bagging. I can't remember how much money we'd make doing this, but I do recall it was usually enough to get some lunch or something. I tell you, growing up Bronx was certainly an experience like no other. Based on my personal experiences, I'm surprised that we never got robbed for the little bit of change we made packing bags at the supermarket.
Crackheads.
Okay, so back in elementary school, me and a couple of my friends decided to skip and go somewhere. We went to this place close to the school, and there was an abandoned apartment. Me and my 8 friends decided to go inside and screw around. So we're going through 7 floors of this place, going into the rooms, causing chaos, breaking shit, knocking down walls, spray painting on stuff, basically being shitheads. So what my friends went back to the lobby and saw an open door, all went in and saw that there was a basement to this place. He calls us down there, we go down into the basement. As we're going down these crooked stairs, we see a whole bunch of tiny plastic bags, needles and pills. We kept fucking around in the basement for a while, till I found this area that had a crack in the all that big enough for a grown man to fit in. Me and 3 other PPL walked through it to be met by about 20 people high out of their minds. They all stop talking and stare at all 4 of us. They get up slowly and start to run at us. We all run back and scream at the others to start running, and then all the crackheads start to run through the wall. Me and the other people start to run up the stairs. Me and seven other people ran to the lobby and then ran to the other side of the building through a door. This door was set up so you can see inside the building, but PPL inside can't really see you because of the big stone pots. But as I said, only 7 of yous got out. But the 8th friend ran up the stairs to the 2nd floor, and about 8 minutes later he jumped through a window on the 3rd floor and fell into some bushes underneath the window, all off us as stupid-ass kids went back into the building, and the window that this guy jumped through had a dead woman laying under it. Turns out that this guy ran up there and took up broken glass to protect himself and stabbed her in her neck when she jumped onto him. After that, he jumped through the window. He got a whole bunch of cuts and strained his wrist and ankle.
Thank you for watching Reddit Stories. Please feel free to like and subscribe. May you all have a blessed day.